All right, everybody,
All
what's
right,
going
what's
on?
going on?
Happy Sunday
Happy
night
Sunday night
to you and
to you
yours.
and yours.
Chewing the
Chewin
Fat
the Fat
is
is
live,
live,
and we are
and we are
here
here
with the
with the
special guest
special
of
guest of
tonight.
tonight.
He's known
He's
as
known
the
as the
sexiest
sexiest
man on
man
earth.
on earth.
Oh gosh.
the
Oh, nice.
one
The
and
one and
only
only
Mr.
Mr.
Jason Knight.
Jason
What's
Knight.
going
What's
on,
going
brother?
on,
How are you
brother? How are
doing?
you
I'm
doing?
doing well, thank you. It's been what, a million years? Here we are. Who would have thought?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so
So
your
your
reaction to
reaction
that,
to that,
you start
you start
laughing.
laughing.
I mean, do you
I
still
mean, do you
hear that
still
a
hear
lot?
that a lot?
Yeah. But I hear a lot of um, a lot of it is like incorrect. It's alive on Earth, ever in the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
universe, this and that. And it's supposed to be on Earth because Paul Heyman made sure that it's on Earth. And the thing is, they were like, "Well, why not Texas Man? Well, what if somebody kills him? He won't be alive anymore." And I'm like, "Damn, you're morbid." But yeah, it was a fun thing. Sometimes it's almost like I feel like I'm being it's almost like a pun thing. Oh, sexiest man on earth, and I'm like, never thought I was, and I know I'm not, but let's just go with it. It wasn't my idea anyway.
I can't wait to
can't
get
wait to
into
get
all
into
this
all
stuff.
this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll say about
I'll say
that.
about that.
At that
At
time when
the
you
time when you
debuted,
debuted,
I was
I was
out of
out of
ECW at the
ECW at
time,
the time,
and I
and I
saw
saw
you for the
you
first
for the first
time.
time.
Didn't know
Didn't
nothing
know
about
nothing
you,
about you,
and I said to
and I said to
myself,
myself,
"This guy's a
"This guy's
star."
a star."
Thank you.
I legitimately thought I was like, this guy
"This
is a
guy is a
star,
star,
and this
and
gimmick
this
is
gimmick is
perfect.
perfect."
So,
Thank you. I mean, it was pretty much a Rick Martel ripoff, you know, and then the way that I went about uh, trying to get comfortable with the whole thing. Remember the movie with Richard Gere, The American Gigolo,
hmm
Hmm.
and all the different jackets that he would have for matching tie and shirt and socks and all that. That once Paul Heyman gave me that idea, gave me that direction to go to. I said, well, I remember watching that movie, and we all thought that movie was like so incredibly realistic, that we were all going to be American gigolos, one day,
right.
as teenagers, trying to be all these little muscled up guys, and thinking we were all that. So basically, I was like, if I can try to emulate Richard Gere and his performance um, in the movie, I might be able to. I might be able to hit the target with it. I was hoping so. I wanted to be a little bit different and all that. So, that's where the whole thing with different jackets and different, suits and all that came in, and, trying to go way over the top with, the hair had to be perfect, and, that type of thing. So it was fun in the beginning for a while.
I'm trying to
I'm
play
trying to
around
play
with
around with
the settings
settings
because
because
I'm being told
being
people are
told
hearing
people
the
are hearing
echo of
the
me.
echo of me.
Okay.
Let me see here. How's that,
How's
Tom?
that, Tom?
Okay, let me see. Tom, does
Tom,
Jason
does
have an
Jason
echo, or
have
is
an
it just
echo, or is
me?
it just me?
Echo? Yeah, I could hear my own echo slightly.
We got a viewer from
viewer from
Scotland, which is
Scotland, which is
amazing.
amazing.
Uh, Jason, on the settings, you have a thing down below for settings for microphone. Maybe they're saying it might be
Well,
a microphone.
let's I mean, I can't move.
Let me see what I can do for you.
Let me see.
I'm an expert here.
Well, I'm not really an expert. Okay, so setting audio. Hold on.
Let's see.
Okay, so. Okay, so it says edit.
Let's see. It's settings.
Echo. Hold on. Echo cancellation.
Let's try it out.
How's that sound now?
How about now?
I can't hear your echo now.
Yeah, I'm still hearing it on my end.
Okay, let me go over to here and then see. Is it working better now?
How about now? How about there it is still. The wonders of live broadcasting.
Oh yeah, it's all modern technology.
Let's see. Microphone. What options do you have?
Okay, let me go back in there. Hold on one second.
There's two drop downs.
Hold on, we got that. So go settings.
And then audio.
Audio. Okay, so I'm trying to do this without getting into the screen here. Default mic, default speaker, echo cancellation. I unchecked that. It says reduce mic background noise. I have that checked. Want me to uncheck it?
Me. Let's see.
There, I unchecked that.
Okay.
Stereo audio is unchecked and automatically adjust mic volume is not checked.
Okay.
If you want me to check that, I can check that.
Try checking it. How about the drop down for speaker?
Let me see. Speaker, default speaker. Drop down. It says default speaker or speaker. So it would just be whatever in my computer, I imagine, right?
Right. And microphone is default.
Internal mic. Yeah, default internal mic. Is it working yet?
It's not. A funny comment. These rehearsals are great. This is actually StreamYard, Tom.
Here, I'll try that so that I save that. And are you still hearing? Is Jason's side echoing?
No, it's just me. So I don't.
You're not echoing on this side.
Right. I'm shocked they're hearing it.
Yeah, we're not hearing it on this side.
General. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to painfully echo for people.
Whatever we need to do.
Do you want me to get out of the Chrome? Is it on our side?
I don't know.
I can get out of the Chromebook and then I'll just film him from my phone?
You know what? Let's try from the phone.
Okay.
Let's see. Just for shits and giggles.
All right.
Okay, bear with me for a second.
Sure.
And get into the link. Okay, we'll go under Safari with that, I guess. StreamYard. Loading. Allow. Okay, I'm not seeing
You don't see this on Monday Night Raw.
Haha. Hold on 1 second here. So we've got.
Unfortunately.
I apologize.
No, it's all right.
Speaking of Monday Night Raw, or pretty much whatever product is available these days, I haven't watched anything in many years, but I remember the last time they would literally, physically, verbally, in every way practice everything for about 2 hours for about a 3-minute segment, and it would never turn out the way they wanted. So you know what? Fuck it.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the way to go. Otherwise, whatever. It's not the magic of the realism. Since we're all, you know,
You can
everyone's in
see
the
it
business.
so much.
Oh, now I can
Okay.
go.
All right, okay, I muted out the one.
Okay.
Now you guys are echoing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's no picture for him.
Let me see here. I wonder if now. Let me see. Do you hear me on this at all?
I hear this.
Yeah, you're echoing on the. Oh wow. You're
Oh,
echoing. On
let me do this. How about that? Yeah.
the,
It's
yeah,
still
it's laptop.
okay. And I have that muted too. That's interesting. Okay. Now they hear me fine. But we don't see Jason.
Let me see. Oh. Hold on.
How about
Let's go like that. You don't see Jason. Let me see if I can try. Mike chat more.
I'm gonna remove the other link just in case to remove that echo, and then if it doesn't work, we'll go back to that. Let me see here.
Okay.
Kick out the studio. Okay. Okay, now you can hear me on this?
Can hear you fine on this one.
Okay. I hear you guys perfectly clear. All right, Tom, how's that sound-wise? Because now I have no echo.
Okay, is there any way that maybe I can open this back up and I turn off the mic and you can just use my phone as the mic for Jason's side so we don't have the back, so you can at least see him?
Let's see if we can try it.
Okay, you hold on to my phone. Open up the laptop.
Okay.
My main goal was just to shut that. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can mute on your end too, the microphone on the laptop.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do over here, but I think I have to, yeah, because they can't see. Okay, something went wrong, so let's go try again. Try again. Entering the studio.
I think she deserves a raise, Jason.
Pardon?
I think she deserves a raise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I muted that, so let me go.
Okay.
So hold on here.
I'm going to add him to the stage. Let's see.
We're going to go. Hold on.
Oh, this might work.
We're going to hit.
This might work.
Okay, try that. Oh, no, hold on.
There we go.
Hold on, we're going to.
Let me.
Try it now. Is everything okay?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, because it's not echoing over here. It's not echoing there. And then you can still see him, and I plug in my phone. He's holding my phone. Okay, I will plug in my phone so it doesn't die. And
Ooh,
then
yeah,
you guys should be able to, let me see here. I'm trying to figure out what is plugged in where.
Sounds good now. Everybody's saying so. That's a good thing.
Sounds good. Okay.
And
So
we see Jason. We see me. Hey, brother.
Hey.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. Here. Here.
Hey, much love to you both.
Hold on 1 second here.
What are you having? What are you drinking?
Some Cabernet wine.
Cabernet? I love Cabernet.
Yeah.
Yeah, very dry. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, after the heart attacks, the doctors said you're good. Stick with the red wine, but try to stick to 2 glasses a day, not 2 bottles.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Okay.
Sometimes
Okay. Can you hear him okay? Or
I hear him great.
okay, it's close enough to you. So just speak up.
All right.
Thank you so much, Desiree.
He's got to be the most soft-spoken wrestler I know.
That's why he had that barbed wire bat and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Just in case.
Well, Jason, I got to say this. First off, number one, thank you for doing this. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to really dive in and talk all this stuff, and especially your early stuff before ECW, because like I said, I don't know nothing of that stuff. My first thing I saw was Jason coming on and the "How You Like My Suit" gimmick.
Yeah.
So about what age did you discover this crazy world that you ended up part of?
I remember it was like 1968, and it was in London, England. You know, my dad loved. That's where he lived. That's where we lived with him, and
Really?
he worked over there. He was a politician and journalist and that kind of cute stuff in the world. That really saves the planet.
Right.
No, he was all right. In any case, he was a big wrestling fan, and it was wrestling in England, that him and I used to watch. And it was right around, I would have to say 1968. I think I was 6 or 7 years old.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And, I liked it so much because all the characters and everything. And, I pretty much figured out immediately that it was what it was. But, I liked it and respected it because, I mean, these are athletes that are going out there doing whatever they need to do. And I was always interested in different forms of martial arts and bodybuilding and all that. I admired all the Hercules movies and,
Right.
X, Y, and Z. So basically, when we came to the United States, I came here in 1977.
Okay.
I was right around 14 years old, and I found a place where they would, train people, and it was kind of like what they call backyard these days.
Okay.
But it really wasn't because they had a ring, and the guys could actually take bumps, and they weren't that great, but they could do what they needed to do. Anyway, when I wanted to get serious about it, it wasn't until the 80s when I really started training and met up with Johnny Rods and Bobby Bold Eagle and started training. And it wasn't long before I started.
Now, but when you started like dipping your toes into the water at 14 and starting this training, I mean, did you have matches at that point?
No, I was, just like your little make believe matches,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It was, later on, I think, I was in my teens when I first started,
Okay.
first shows and everything. But really, later on in the 80s after I joined the Johnny Rods Academy and then Bobby Bold Eagle. And like I said, it wasn't that long.
Now, the Johnny, I mean, Johnny trained so many people through the years.
Yeah.
Did he have an actual school back then?
Oh yeah, yeah. He had a. Well, this is later on, like in the mid '80s, where he
Okay.
school. Uh, it was called the Gleason's Arena, not the gym, but the arena, which was 1 block away from the actual arena where they did all the boxing.
Mm,
That place hosted professional wrestling and boxing, I think, on a monthly basis. Then later on, whoever the owner was, he sold it to someone. They opened up a garage,
okay.
garage out of it, so this way people can commute from wherever, and then park their vehicles and travel to work to Manhattan.
Okay.
So later on, it was the the gym, which it was never that intimate because the ring is. I think it's still like in a corner. There might be 1 or 2 rings, and
Okay.
rest it's sold like boxing.
Oh, it's still there today?
Pardon?
It's still there today?
The gym, yeah, yeah. Johnny,
Really? Wow.
sure, yeah. He's going strong. He's there pretty much all the time, and
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, he continues to create future talent.
That's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yep.
So when you decided to do this, then when you start going to Johnny's, what did your family think? Did they think you were like crazy or
No, I mean, I was living with my mother, and she was always very supportive of whatever I wanted to do.
okay?
So basically, if you feel that this is the direction you want to go to, go right ahead. My blessings.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, plus, I always had the knack for show business and things of such nature. I didn't really want to sit behind a desk or
Sure.
I
I'm
could,
with you.
I considered military and I considered law enforcement and you know I I had military experience, uh, but after that, this is what I had an opportunity to do, and then doors opened, and it wasn't long after some of the indies that I started working for WCW, and that was it was '88 or '89,
Okay.
and I had an opportunity to work with some of the best over there.
So now here's the crazy thing. Like at that point, like I was still like your casual fan of those mid to late '80s. Watching mainly. I was a huge NWA fan at that point and WCW at that change. Um, I had no idea until when I entered wrestling school in 1990 that there was this whole scene of independent wrestling.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you discovered it early on in the mid '80s. What was it like though? That like the indie scene was it similar to what we experienced in the '90s, or was it? I'm just shocked that people knew this was going on. Like, where the hell was I?
yeah. I mean, back then, as far as the independent groups, uh, you had, your Savoldi's, obviously,
Okay,
and other people that followed suit, and then obviously, there were a lot of little promotions, if
okay,
that were pretty much underground. Yet
gotcha.
a lot of the guys that you see on top today started, way back then. These
Sure.
promotions that would kind of like swivel their way and work around the state athletic commission, for New Jersey and New York and other places that were able to actually kind of get on-job training You'd be surprised, how sometimes these promotions drew very well because they would always have one or two guys on top that were known, and they would come in as the main event, and then the rest were a lot of the up and coming talent.
That's awesome. Who was your very first match?
I can't.
You know,
Honestly, I can tell you that as far as the big two back then, WCW, my very first opponent was Mike Rotundo.
okay.
That was for a house show.
Was he doing? What was he doing? The Michael Wall Street gimmick at that time or something?
Captain Mike.
Captain Mike. Okay.
Yeah, he had the and he was a baby face, and then they liked me enough to keep me around and said, whatever TVs you want to do and whatever house shows we can give you, we will, but whatever TVs.
Nice.
And actually Jody Hamilton that liked me well enough to say, yeah, anytime, in fact, if you want to move down here and, travel around and later on, I got to do some things through Ole Anderson.
Okay.
He was actually very good to me. He liked the fact that there was no complaining, none of that. Hey, I'm this well-built, pretty boy, and I deserve this and that. So he put me to a test. Like
Sure. I can imagine.
yeah, like he would he'd put me there with Sid when Sid was really a powerful heel and take the finishes and all that, and which is nothing. I mean, I was trained. It was nothing. Vader, I was his very first television match. So
okay.
imagine when he first came out on television, how strong he had to look.
Sure.
It was like, hey kid, you really want to do this? Kind of, like okay, but here's your test, and it was nothing. I mean, those guys are great. They're all professionals. I mean, if you can't hack it, and you want to be a professional wrestler, like you step into a locker room, you're not going to choose who your opponent's going to be.
Right.
I'll do it, but it's got to be such and such. That look at you like. That's why a lot of the guys would pack their bags and leave because they knew they would die.
Did you enjoy doing those matches?
Enjoy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very much. I enjoyed the whole aspect of being able to act like I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Really wasn't scared. I mean, here I am. I'm a young guy. I'm not the largest guy or anything like that, but I'm capable and I'm strong and I'm trained, and I know what my role is. And I know these guys are going to treat me. I mean, a 7-footer is going to plant you through the frigging ground. You're going to end up in China, I mean, if you can't hack that, go home. So yeah, I enjoyed him very, very much. To me, every time that I was booked against someone that was supposed to be a monster and an animal and scary, it was an honor. Because I would prove that I can, I can continue to work. And, I was even asking like, why don't you put me on the road with these guys? Let me, instead of, picking and choosing and begging people to work with these guys that nobody wanted to.
Right.
You have to trick wrestlers. Like, sure, come in and, once they see their name on the board versus Sid, Vader, or other guys, or Road Warriors. Oh my God, I might have to take that, finish and all that.
Yeah.
They would pack their bags. They would leave politely, and then and then you'd see them back, sitting there and wondering why they're not going to be used again.
So wait. So they would actually leave and then show up expecting to work.
Oh yeah. Like nothing ever happened. you know. Oh yeah, I mean, you see the same, you see the same little pussies, sitting there, and just waiting. Well, where's my name on the board? You're what? You know, you're lucky you got a ticket for friggin' buffet lunch.
Right, right, right.
So,
Did you did
oh,
you ever think it might lead to any type of push or anything, or being used in a better way?
I was hoping. I mean, I was actually hoping because when I trained with Bobby Bold Eagle,
Okay.
he was an international superstar
Hmm.
of cruiserweight division, and I was always hoping. I said, "Damn, I mean, I can do it. I'm not a high flyer, but I could wrestle and do all the quick moves, and I like wrestling and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And being physical. I like the whole physicality of it, kind of laying it,
Sure.
without being dangerous or stupid,
Hmm.
uh, that type of a thing. I thought that sooner or later will come a time where the interest for like the lighter, smaller guys comes in, and by that time, I was already like 40 years old.
Wow.
They
Okay.
started the whole cruiserweight thing. I was like 40 or pushing 40, and there were guys that were younger than I am. I was in just as good shape, but you know how it is.
Dude, you look amazing for your age. I got to say.
Thank you. Well,
Seriously, and no bullshit. You look fucking amazing, dude.
we're trying to. I mean, I didn't want to just kind of lay down and die. Let it. Let time do what time does. I'm trying to do my best to preserve myself because
You're
I
doing a hell of a job, man.
I've been uh, I've been away from the industry for like I'd say about 12 years, and I just
Hmm.
less than 2 years ago. So I'd like to continue for a while longer.
Oh, we're gonna get all into that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So okay, um, that's like the late '80s, early '90s. Did
yeah.
you did you know anything about what was going on in the Philly wrestling scene with Joel Goodhart and the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and then uh,
Magazines,
you didn't know nothing about Joel or none of that
magazines.
magazine? Okay.
Yeah, magazines. You open them and you see. I mean, we were so conditioned
Hmm.
back in the day that the big three, obviously, uh, Vern, Vince, and then Crockett's Turner.
Right.
They really mattered. Then, of course, everybody wanted to go to Japan and Puerto Rico and
Mhm.
travel and get all that. We all thought that the golds were. I mean, excuse me, streets were paved with gold. Uh,
Mm.
again, we were naive. Um, as far as the indie promotions, you work them. Some draw really well, some don't.
Yeah. Of course.
It was pretty much just work, get exposure, and again, whether you're in front of 12 or 1200, do
Mm.
the best you can, and use that as it's your homework. That's
Yeah.
that's you just passing that grade and moving along.
So then in the early '90s, then when that changeover happens, where Tri-State and Joel go out of business, and Todd comes in and takes over and changes it to Eastern Championship Wrestling, and then they get the TV contract, and he brings Eddie in, and Eddie brings Paul in. Um, how do you end up coming into Eastern Championship Wrestling in, what was it, '94, early or late '93?
Actually, it was three. It was Ultra Clash '93,
Right. Okay.
and that's I think that was in the autumn or early winter or something like that of '93 because I remember in was it June or July or '93 I had a back surgery. You know,
Okay.
hurting. I was supposed to take a couple of years off and, not do anything for a while, And Paul calls me, and I knew Paul from WCWN before,
Hmm.
we're always very friendly over there. And
Isn't it interesting though? Because as soon as like the pieces were going together in my head, I'm thinking to myself, so I'm saying Paul probably met Jason in WCW,
yeah,
and you ended up in the Rolodex in his head
yeah.
for him to call you.
Oh, it was something. I mean, it was like, I have this thing, where, you have to, you have to, you have to. And I'm like, I just had a back surgery. It's like, it's going to be 3 months from now. I'm like, what? 3 months? Major back surgery. Meet me at Mr. Fuji's Tropicana. Okay. So I found another pretty cool club to hang out in, without having to pay, getting all the drink tickets I wanted. Cool. He's like, don't worry about it. You're going to go in there with Teddy and Johnny, the Public Enemy. And of
Okay.
course, Teddy I've known for forever. Mike, Johnny Grunge. I mean, they are both resting in peace right now, and bless them. They will continue to be great friends forever. But
Absolutely.
I was very comfortable with that. I said, yeah, because they will understand my condition and situation, and said, well, I have something, for you. I have to just, do this match. And it was Ultra Clash 93. And I really wasn't ready to be in the ring,
Okay.
still hurting. I mean, my lower back was still had to change bandages and all that.
Oh
You know,
shit.
back surgery.
Yeah.
It was a fusion between the two discs, so you don't just hop right back on the bicycle. So basically, everything went fine, and then I had another match after that with a Wolfman,
Yes,
right?
Dudley. Yeah.
And well, that's when Paul said, "I want you to do this whole managerial thing, where this kind of character, and kind of do your hair this way and that way, and move this way, and he kind of he gave me the ball to run with it.
Okay.
He gave me the general idea of what his vision was, and then I kind of created the rest. Movement, the whole thing, with and then I started wearing, the clothing, and he goes,
Right.
"Oh, I like your suit, Jason." This time he goes, "Oh, how about you say, how do you like my suit?" So that was the idea.
How many times have people said that line to you over the years?
God almighty, if I had a penny, I'd be a millionaire.
The funny thing is too, I was thinking, that was kind of truly before the whole catchphrase gimmick in wrestling, and that was like one of the first catchphrases was "How do you like my suit?"
Well, the funny thing is, was it 93?
Right?
And with all due respect, for Dwayne Johnson, I
Hmm.
mean, awesome. He does the eyebrow.
You
Well,
were doing it.
I was doing that in 93,
When I was going back and watching videos for the interview,
And
I
I'm not,
said,
sa- and I'm not saying that he knows who I am from Adam.
but
It's
it was you.
probably just a coincidence, But yeah, I was like, I remember that. I used to do that.
I'm telling you, I was watching it and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
That's what The Rock does. He does the fucking Jason's eyebrow thing.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
That's
How that started, and like I said, I brought in some outfits that if you have like some nice clothes to wear, and he thought that I was gonna come in with some where they like to shout it, and chant Kmart suits. I actually
right.
brought clothes with me that I would wear when I would go out clubbing, because that's what you did back then. And how's this? I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. It looks great. And, with big shoulder pads and the small waist and all that. And I'm like, well, now I'm going to put on like a gold chain or whatever, no shirt, and just try to be as in your face and as obnoxious as I can be. So, in other words, the guy that I would really hate to meet and that I would like want to be, you're not my friend. I started becoming that guy because I knew that he wanted to heal.
Right.
Especially I read that Philly area. That's very blue collar.
Mm-hmm.
Working people that believe in they believe in Hotbody and Stetson and Sam
Sure.
Super D's, and I mean I get it. JT Smith. I'm like, well, if I can be the opposite of this, I can really get some reaction out of it, and just be the opposite of who I am, and go out there.
That's so funny though.
Rest did the rest.
But so when Paul does like bring this whole thing up to you, and he suggests to you more as a manager, were you kind of like, but I want to wrestle?
Yeah, yeah. But I knew that I needed time to recover because, like I said again, I shouldn't have gone back into the ring as quick as I did because I was hurting all the time.
Right.
Later on, I paid the price for it, which
Sure.
whatever. I mean, it's water under the bridge.
Were you
we kind of agreed on the fact that when I'm ready to get back, I drop the manager and get back into wrestling.
okay?
That's what I wanted to do, and that's why you may have that question saved for later, but I will kind of like let the pigeon out. That's why when I was allowed to wrestle,
Mm-hmm.
I objected to being told that I needed to curb it down because I needed to kind of like suck at it,
Mm.
and that kind of stereotypes you
Yeah.
because I was thinking of the future. What
Sure.
about because managers in a business, unless you have a beautiful pair of breasts and all that, I mean, how many really go as far as they should go? I mean, who cares about some guy walking around the ring? Honestly,
I mean, I can say for me, because when I got brought back in as part of the Dudleys, and got put into that role, it made me lazy because then I got like I'm part of the sideshow, and I don't have to work these matches. And I was going to say this, like, and I'm sure we'll get into it later, but when we ended up working our match for Dennis and NWA, um, I realized how much it hurt me as a worker because I got so lazy. I was so fucking blown up when me and you had our match. We were in the ring and we were going all around the gymnasium and we were having this fun match, but
yeah.
I was sucking wind and was so blown up. And I was like, son of a bitch. Like
Yeah.
it never happened to me until that. And I'm like, it's because I got freaking lazy and comfortable just
Remember,
being part of the sideshow.
Please, give us, 15 or whatever. And, 15 may not sound like a lot, but, try doing 5, um, not lazy, with the minimum rest holds and all that. It's not easy. And, we kind of did, what we did because, the whole thing. And, and I was conditioned then and
Yeah.
eyes and this and that, but, I can understand because, I mean, that's one thing that I never did when I was managing.
Hmm.
Always, there was always in the back of my mind
Sure.
that if by some chance this guy's not lying to me, he's going to put me in the ring, full time. I better be ready day one. So I was always like training and but that then again I was always interested in like bodybuilding and different sports and all that.
Right.
So I mean, I had an advantage there.
Did you at any time, as you're in the manager role, feel yourself like what happened to me, like kind of getting complacent and just feeling like, oh, like maybe this could be a way to just be the manager, and also too, what if? I mean, let's face it, that whole gimmick was over like a son of a bitch,
Yeah,
and it would never have surprised me if WCW or WWE would have came calling you.
yeah, no, I mean, uh, didn't happen. I mean, I had a few semi opportunities to get in for this reason or that reason, pretty much, and primarily, to wrestle. But no, I think they already had their fill of managers and valets. And they didn't need me. Um, I did, and yeah, interesting you say that it did get over. It got over for the first year and a half, maybe two or two, but
Okay.
it starts fizzling. I mean, again, you start introducing, the ladies,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the valets and everything. Who wants to see my ass out there? Doing the whole managerial thing. It's
Right.
I started hearing things like, "Who the fuck are you? You're a waste of space." Blah blah blah. Go home,
Really.
get in a ring, or get this and that, and I mean, I started getting very jaded, when it came to that because
Mm.
that I wanted to be in a ring and wrestle. So he would put me through a test and say, "Hey, would you, if Stevie Richards loses, would you wear a dress?" "I'll do whatever you want me to do. It's a fucking work." "Would you
Right.
girl?" "I'll do whatever you want me to do. It's a fucking work." "Would you take 9 choke slams? Would you do this? Blah blah blah. Gig this and that. Have your pants pulled down, moon the crowd." "I'll do whatever the fuck you want me to do. It's a work." So that's why I started getting a little bit. You were asking me, as far as facing with that. Yeah, I think it was a lot more than that. I started getting very pissed off and very not
Frustrated.
cooperative, but not happy to go to work.
Mm.
That's a bad thing, especially something that you wanted to do your entire life.
I as a ma- let me usually I wait towards the end to pop up some comments, but I think an old well a brother of the squared circle of ours is in the chat, and I'm wondering if you know this guy from your WCW days, um, the Cooker, Bob Cook.
Oh my God! Hey, you know, oh, the best of the best, all the best, and so
Bob
much
is
for my friend. Yeah,
He
yeah,
said he's the king of lazy and the king of procrastination.
yeah,
So I'm so lazy that I procrastinate to
yeah.
I can't even say the freaking words, Bob. You're But he also said 9 choke slams. Nope.
Yeah. Well, I know, but yeah. Yep, Bob, back in the day. Not now, but oh gosh, Bob Cook, he could make a worm look good.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So the now before we went live, we were chit chatting, and you had mentioned how you were the ECW, the Eastern Championship Wrestling
yeah,
TV champion, and you were the very first match on Extreme Championship Wrestling
yeah.
TV.
And it's funny how that goes because it almost got it goes in like this session. I think Gary Wolf was number 8,
Okay.
Whipwreck 9, and I'm 10. So
Wow.
of course, I had to rip off the Jason X thing, Jason 10, number 10, and then
Right.
too cold after that. But yeah, so I was the last, the 10th, the Eastern, and then the night the line was crossed,
Okay.
turned to Extreme,
Hmm.
and then I held that, and then the first match and the title defense match was against Chuck.
Oh God.
Somewhere,
Okay.
in Pennsylvania.
Pulsations.
And, pardon? Pulsations. Nightclub.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Yes. And the rest of the history. Then Hamburg Field House, I dropped it to Too Cold.
Okay.
And the same night, he dropped it to Dean.
Okay.
That's how that went. Yeah. But yeah.
So, I mean, the one-time TV champion, you start doing the manager thing, and then, he starts, like you said, testing you. It's easy to understand why you were frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, all I wanted to do was, work and, not just be out there for whatever, and then came the time when I was, like really getting into shape and I'm like bigger, larger, and better, the guys that I'm managing, or their opponents. I mean,
Right.
what's wrong with that picture?
Tryouts.
Yeah, exactly.
Tryouts.
So, did you just leave on your own? Did you have a discussion with Paul, or?
Yeah, discussion with Paul.
Did he not answer your phone call?
I mean, it's weird. Let's just say this: that if I was, and I would always hope to be in condition and willing, to work for Paul, and if he would say to me tomorrow, "Do you want to come back and work?" I would say yes. But it's a different Jason. It's older and wiser, and and I'll probably still get fucked, but not as badly, because he's Paul, and let's just face it. At that time, nobody was really pounding down our doors, please come in and work
Right.
here and there, and so when that opportunity came about, and then Paul knew that he was a name, especially after Eddie left.
Yeah.
Paul was like, well, plus Paul is very vocal and very in your face, and he's like he's like that. What do you call those things that you he's like an alarm. He's like you can hear him. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Here it is. He knew that a lot of people would be more than happy to
Take that spot.
because he offered it, because Paul offered it.
Right.
No matter if he offered it to you for 30 seconds or 30 days or 30 years, it's, I mean, he's got that magic, he's got that persona, where he can captivate you, and basically, he can still do it, especially now,
Absolutely. How about Todd Gordon? Any like interactions with Todd, or?
I see him all the time, where I've been around now, doing pretty much a lot of the signings and everything. I see Todd, we're cool as ever. Todd's always been. He's always been one of the boys, and always will be. I mean, I love Todd. That's all.
Yeah. It's funny because I say because I knew Todd, like I was there in the early days of Eastern before the TV deal and all, so I knew the very green Todd that was fresh to the business, and at that point he was the businessman, and he was not one of the boys. And then when I came back as a Dudley,
okay, yeah. Before that, when it was,
I'm like, who's this fucking guy? Like it was like night and day.
Yes, that he literally became, because I guess you were there before '93.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just got in there in '93.
Yeah.
That's where I met Todd, and of course, he was still kind of salty.
Hmm.
He didn't know me, whatever. But when Paul was like, just get this guy, let him do this, and watch here, his big googly eyes and all that, and I was like, oh, I love this guy, let him. And then, of course, there was this thing where Paul, it's my idea to make you the television champion, and of course, Todd is. No, it was my idea to make you television champion. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I appreciate both of them, and
Yeah.
I'll go back to work for either of those men, but this time under a little bit different circumstances.
Sure. Sure.
And even if you get fucked, it's not as deep. A little bit smarter.
What? Wait, people get fucked in the wrestling business? How does that happen?
I mean, gosh, it's just I don't know. Again, nobody was pounding down our doors and begging to come to go to Japan and work for Baba or Inoki or the others or Vince or Turner or Crockett or that other one, from up in Minnesota.
Right.
Honestly, nobody was. Nobody gave a shit, and there was an opportunity and there was a window opportunity. And if you jump through it, you lost out. And, you might come back a couple of years later or whatever. And, hey, the spot is filled. And, maybe by somebody of a lesser talent than you are. But hey, it is what it is.
Now, when you left that first time, um, I saw on Wikipedia you had a match with Conan, like a 14-second match. Was that your last match in your first run with Extreme?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think it was even 14 seconds.
Really? Okay.
No, I mean it was a gimmick, where remember Taz was the referee.
Yeah, I remember. I
Yeah,
didn't. All I remember from that was Conan's debut or first match, whatever, turned into a giant pull apart between him and Taz. 'Cause I remember being out there for the pull apart, and Conan potatoing me.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember my match with Conan. Taz was the guest referee.
Hmm.
He refereed because he had that neck thing going on,
Right.
and so basically I start up with Taz, and he knocks me out. Conan power bombs me 1, 2, 3. I think it was less than 14 seconds, maybe
Wow.
14 seconds from the time that Taz and I started jaw jacking.
Right.
It was like maybe a chop or two, and boom. It was an odd thing, like to work. You do whatever you have to do.
Sure.
Happy about it? No. But what are you gonna do?
So okay, so when you leave though, and you go back and you hit the indie scene, you hit Japan and all this after that first run, is it kind of like eye opening to you just to see? I mean, because now you had kind of a name out there from ECW, and it just to me, it was like the eye opening thing was how important that television was. And back then, there was the tape trading thing going on,
Yeah,
and so many people knew what was going on.
yeah. And then you have a lot of the little shit eaters, promoters, that want to hire you to put over some, lug from around a corner that's,
Yeah.
that couldn't even fucking wipe my ass if I let him. But I mean, yeah, there's a it's a balance between that, between all that. It's yeah, I mean, I, back then, the indies really kind of sucked because it was all like a fly-by-night,
Right.
especially if you're going to work in a New York area,
Hmm.
even New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, other than, of course, Dennis. But, Dennis only,
Right.
so much, once every month or something like that. Or, when Dennis ran,
Hmm.
was that like once every month? So you couldn't really.
He did run once. He had the one. What that was the one building, Yardville. He ran in Yardville, New Jersey. I think he ran at that building like once a month, and then he would run like he would try to do like another spot show once a month somewhere. He would get like sold shows and
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what I mean, the probably one of the only legit guys at you know at that time in New Jersey was running twice, 3 times a month at the best. So you're always planning to go somewhere else, like overseas or basically, for me, it was I did a lot of personal training.
right.
That was what kept me going, and that was consistent every day. So many clients that sometimes you have to cancel them out. You know, there's not enough hours a day.
This is true. This is true. Um, how about so you went to Japan at that time too in like '96? Was that your first time going to Japan?
Uh, 95 or 96 was it?
Okay, for big Japan.
I think it might have been 95.
Okay.
It was, yeah, that was the first time. Yeah, and I went back for that company probably 3 times. That was Wing. Yeah, that was Wing. That was great. And it's Japan. It's
Sure.
and plus I had good friends there with me. I had Ted Petty
Okay.
and Johnny Grunge was there, and Ted Petty, of course, he was the veteran of
Hmm.
the Japan scene because a lot of us, actually all of us, were pretty much there for the first time, except for the Pitbulls. It was Teddy, Johnny, the Pitbulls, J.T. Smith, Sandman, uh, myself. I don't want to forget anyone else. But basically, yeah, it was a great experience. A lot of traveling. It, unless you're working for the really big companies, it's not glamorous. Yeah. But it's good.
At that point in your career, though, I mean, you've had a taste of between doing what you did with WCW, then with ECW, and then going over to Japan. Were you still at that point wanting to do like a full time thing? Is that what you still wanted to do? Did you think to yourself, it might be too much, might be too crazy?
No, I mean, my goal was always to do it
Hmm.
living,
Sure.
and I was hoping not to need to do anything to earn a supplemental income. You know,
Sure.
I was always lucky enough that my supplemental income came from something that I love to do. And again, that's bodybuilding. So it's not like you really had to dig ditches and
Right.
uh, putting anything down. I'm just phrasing it.
Sure. Sure.
Um, basically, yeah, that's what I always wanted to do. And then kind of like you get a little bit older and wiser, and you start realizing that you're not the biggest dog on the block,
Hmm.
uh, and you're really not willing to stick your nose up someone's ass and follow them around like a puppy, and get that work and keep the job, you know. And I saw a lot of very individuals out there that made it, way to the top. They're still on top,
Hmm.
basically, I wouldn't give him time of the day as a spectator, but it is what it is.
It's the wrestling business.
Yeah.
So at that point when you were out of ECW in '95 and '96 and even part of '97 before you make your return,
Yeah.
were you at any time like thinking to yourself, "Oh shit, how can I get back over there?" Like that TV is vital, and the buzz going on is just so important.
I in between then I wanted to go to WCW,
Okay.
and I just knew that certain individuals liked me over there. So you find me in Atlanta, and I'm kind of like hanging out, going to the shows,
Okay.
showing up in great shape and all that,
Mhm.
ready, willing, able to work. That I'll get at least a tryout.
Sure.
You know, after being 20 years in the business, I'll get a tryout. So basically, well, okay, not 20, but let's say 15 years in the business.
Sure.
I was just being facetious, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
So basically, it was such a mess over there that when I first went in, and there was it was Kevin Sullivan that was doing the book, but and then there was Sharon Martell. She was like, give this guy a chance because she knew me from ECW and all that, and
Right.
well, he's got to talk to Flair, which he was right because Flair was he, I mean, not to get into it way too much. He's oh yeah, next week, just hang out here, you'll get a tryout, and we'll do this and that, and then 1 week turned into the next and the next and the next, yeah, hang
Mhm.
it, all that, it became almost like a joke, which
Mm.
is okay, I mean, hey, the joke's on me, but whatever, hope you had a good laugh. Um, Basically, I saw that the whole thing was going to absolute shits, and then Jim Herd take over.
Mhm.
Remember Jim Herd?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he takes over, and he makes Ric Flair wear a little bun, and I guess the whole thing, the joke was reversed, and I think he wanted to be like what Hercules or Samson or something.
Yeah. Something like that.
It's a shame, for I'm not trying to. It's not out of hatred. It's just out of. I know what I felt, when I was being led around by the nose, and I'm not going to lie about it. Fuck it. So basically, that whole thing just turned into absolutely nothing happening, and then at some point, I came back and I worked a lot of the indie shows and everything, and then I broke my ankle, had an ankle replacement,
Oh
and
geez.
yeah, I was like I was out for like 7 months, and somehow reconnected with Paul again. He's
Okay.
like, that's when I wrestled Taz and the Steiners. Well, yeah, that was what we were talking about. And it was the Eliminators and I
Right.
fight against Taz the Steiners. That's
Yeah. That was. Yeah. 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 Okay.
so we might be getting our years mixed up or discombobulated, but
Yeah. I think that was like '95. Was it?
no, I had to
Yeah.
be. I think '95 is because I know when I came back let's see first the second time when I came back, I was under the ring. Remember that? And I pulled Mikey under the ring with me.
Okay. So that was.
Yeah, and he was tagging with a Spike, and they were with PG-13. So
Okay. So
PG-13.
that was probably '97 or so.
Okay, well,
Okay, here's a funny question for you, and I've always wondered this because we see how many people do that gimmick where they're hiding under the ring. How long were you under the ring for?
Oh gosh. Okay, so we're hanging out, and then probably about a half hour before the people are going to be let in. I go under the ring, and here comes the Sandman, and he says, "You're going to need this and this and this." So he pushes in like a 12-pack of beer and a couple of big cups, after beer and a pack of cigarettes. Make sure you don't smoke. You hear the people because they're going to see the smoke in the ring. I'm like, oh,
Right.
really? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. So I'm over there, drinking the beer and peeing in a cup and whatever. Then also first match, second match, third match, and I'll tell you, that was like scary and a half because I mean, it felt like bombs were being like dropped.
Right.
Absolutely awful. And then all of a sudden, here comes the tag match. So now there's like four of them plus the referee, and I'm like, oh my god! And every time, you can hear that metal on metal,
Right. Right.
you know, that ridiculous sound, and I'm like, okay, that's it. So I'm like, here, another one. I might as well die drunk.
So all right. So you were prepared with cups in case because I just said to myself,
Oh,
what if you got to pee?
oh, no, no, no. He's like, here, I did this in Memphis before, and something like that. Or, well, I learned this from Lawler, Here's a couple of cups, and here's a 12 pack, and here's a pack of smokes. And now enjoy, because, I mean, they're like four. And then, by the time I think their match was like third or fourth, and, between all the ha ha and the gaga and, hellos and welcomes, I mean, it's got about an hour and a half of hanging out under the ring, and then you hear the first man walk in, and it's like, okay, I can, when they start wrestling, oh man, it's like wow, because if this thing collapses, and it has collapsed
Oh yeah.
at the ECW arena before, you know, I mean, you might as well say a
So it was. How about when you come up out of the ring though? I mean, how was the pop?
It was good because nobody expected, and it was yeah, it was okay, and of course Mikey, I'm like, Mikey, I'll pull you under, so that Joey Styles can go, oh, it's like a shark pulling out in the water. And, and of course, Mikey came in and, gave me uh, the little nudge, the little Iggy, with his heel. And, oh, there he is, So I pull him under, and he's like, now what? I got to get color. I said, well, get color, So we start making all kinds of noise under the ring and throwing chairs around, I'm like, okay, you can go out now, And then he comes out, he's all bloody, and here I come.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So when you come back now and it was kind of like almost the same thing though. It was you end up managing the Impact players and you occasionally wrestle.
Yeah.
Were you hoping again for the same thing, hoping to be able to wrestle more, or you just didn't at that point you didn't care, you just wanted to be in?
No, I wanted to wrestle. I mean,
Mm,
I'd rather not be in, than wrestle. But, right now, you're so deep in that, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You invested so much
right.
life of yourself, and right now, by that time, I'm kind of like almost pushing 40.
Hmm.
So, what are you going to do? I mean, there are other avenues, but, you know, right about now, I'm kind of like being stubborn. Um, well into my 30s.
Right.
I'm here and I'm like in as good or better shape than all these guys. I'm working out every time on purpose. You know, how we used to work out in the ring before the shows.
Yeah.
Out and do all that. I'm doing that, and I'm like blowing people up and doing what I need to do.
Sure.
Like, okay, go manage again. I'm like, you know, he burnt my ass.
Mm. So it's basically the same thing all over again.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you know. And then there was a point where Paul knew, you know, how I felt, and he said to me that after my match with Jazz, well, actually, there were I think two things that happened. Remember which happened first or second, but I know there was Credible and Jack Victory versus Dreamer and Jake Roberts.
Okay.
You know, Jack took a tumble over the top.
Okay.
Broke his leg in like 5 or 10 places, you know.
Okay. Wow.
I had to hop on the apron and finish the match. Well, of course, you get all that praise, like, oh, wow, you know, it was pay per view, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's live, you know. I mean, you mess up, you mess up, you cover it, you know.
Sure.
I was like, oh, you know, and everyone, you know, Dreamer too, and everyone, oh, you're going to get such, you know, praise over this because, oh, you know, what you say you know, like whatever, you know, I mean, I'm there, I'll do it because I can. Um, so that's when I was hoping, you know, that I would kind of be released from
Yeah.
that whole manager position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, then after the thing with Jazz, you know, put her over big time and all that. And you know, actually, Paul wanted. I know what he wanted a comedy match.
Dude, I'll tell you what. It's like at that era of life, like because I was in my angry phase against Paul and ECW, so I really wasn't watching the product. I
Yeah,
literally just watched that match this afternoon for the first time.
yeah,
That was probably the best intergender match I ever saw.
yeah.
I was sitting here
Cool.
like, this is a great, phenomenal fucking match.
Well, see what happened there was, you know, he wanted, give us, you know, the usual, you know, ha ha, Memphis 5 minutes, girl versus guy, you know, you know that. I said, sure, I'll do that. You know.
Right.
Meanwhile, you know, her and I were training for weeks before that,
Okay.
and I've never done that. Only one time. I've only done that when I had to wrestle Mikey the first time because he was very very green. He
Okay.
was the TV champion, and I wanted our match to be great, you know, and it worked out great. So that was like the second time that I did that. That I actually from A to Z practiced a match
Mm.
was Jazz and I. So we get in there, and every week, you know, we go, okay, you know, so first 2 minutes, then repeat it. Now we're gonna add this song, that, you know, from beginning till this. Okay, you know, till that match was solid, and I'll never forget the match that her and I right before the pay per view was absolutely awful. Every match that her and I had before that pay per view, like the triad matches, they were awful. You know,
Wow.
she was very nervous. You know, and now she's in great shape, training because I'm like, you know, do this and do that, and you have Rob
Mhm.
husband. You know, he's in great shape. Just follow his lead. She comes in looking like $1 million. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know if we. I said. She's like, I don't know if we can do this, and I said, yeah, we can. Well, we have to. You know, and you know. That match that was supposed to be ha ha, gaga. Just stay out there 3 4 minutes, and it's a pay per view, mind you. You know,
Right.
but give me 3 4 minutes. Well, we gave him what 9 10 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
minutes, of nonstop action.
Yeah.
And it was all designed, by me because I was a veteran. And of course, she followed it to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous athlete and super talented, So by the time, we came back out, nobody would say, they couldn't say, oh, you didn't do what we asked you to do.
Right.
Oh, wow, that was really, oh, we enjoyed that. I'm like, fuck, I know, I know you did. What do you think I was going to go out there and, suck wind for 3 minutes and, do that whole, they wanted to do a whole funny, ha spot,
Mhm.
um, her, uh, you know, hit me in the groin and roll me up, and it's been down, like what 1,000 times.
Yeah. The chair spot was awesome.
Yeah, and I designed that. I said, we'll put this one here, that one there, and
Mm-hmm.
hit that, nice and hard, and I'll,
Mm-hmm.
and we just go home, So yeah,
Did you guys get any heat for going over time or?
no, none, no.
Good.
Honestly, we were like supposed to do. I said no more than 3, 4, 5, tops. We did
Yeah.
near 10. You know, I knew that we were going to come back and be smelling like a rose. And that's what happened because well, it's a friggin' pay per view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Out other fuck ups and different angles or whatever. Being showed it completely. So.
Did you stay with ECW till the end, or did you leave again, or?
No, no, I left. Beginning of 2000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, and same reason again, or
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
what? How about this time? Was there a discussion with Paul this time, or no?
It was personal. It was a family.
Right.
My daughter got sick. She had leukemia at the time. She was,
Oh.
and I had to take some time off, and it just got really ugly. And I was blamed. See, I couldn't make certain shows.
Okay.
I would make all the local shows, but
Yeah.
we had to like fly out uh, in case of the need for me to come back and they needed blood or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Be that far away. So I was blamed for fabricating a story that my child was sick, so that I wouldn't make it to the show.
What?
Paycheck. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm
This,
speechless.
oh yeah. Insubordination, this and that. So, I mean, the other party would probably tell you I never said that, but it's out there. Before that, before this, we didn't have like Facebook and whatever. We had like MySpace and
Right.
certain things that you could. Yeah, I was blamed on being too lazy to show up. Uh, but I would make local shows, like anything that was like driving distance.
Right. I used to do the same thing,
But
but
anything that was flying distance, just in case if I had to come back, because it was very dangerous. Might have needed like um, blood plasma and all that,
right.
and or worse. So I didn't want to be like say in Florida where I can't catch a flight until the next day.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
all those
Wow.
venues, and I took New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York,
Mm-hmm.
wherever I could drive up and come back down.
Right.
But
Right.
lived in the same household, but it was close enough to because it was very much touch and go. And then you know I was dealt that slap in the face that pretty much, I fabricated the fact, his daughter was never sick. He just fabricated that, so he could avoid,
Holy shit.
and yeah, that was not cool. But you know what? I wish them and their families all the best. May they never, ever feel what I felt.
Wow. Ooh. So, I mean, at this point, what are your feelings on the wrestling business? I mean, at that point, I would be so like just fucking bitter and done. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a bit of touch and go, and then I decided to start, a wrestling school. I had three separate ones in the state of Connecticut,
Okay.
and then that's where in 2000, that went well. I had some pretty good students. Two of that I can really be proud of. Mercedes Martinez, and that was
Okay.
their, the girls that I trained.
Nice.
There were a lot of other ones, that, had they pushed a little bit harder, they could have made it. But, again, life happens.
Sure.
And
I'm almost I have to ask, and I'm almost scared to ask. I want to go back about your daughter. Your daughter, is she okay?
she's alive, yeah.
Okay. My sister died of leukemia 8, 9 years ago, and I was scared to ask the question. I'm sorry, but
No,
it was like hanging on my head. I had to know.
no, I know, no, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, thank God. Thank God.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So basically, then I decided to start a little promotion, Assault Championship Wrestling, and I had a few good buddies with me, like Joel Gardner and Ron Zell,
Okay.
guys like that, and so we started something in Connecticut, and it was a great timing because this was like the ass end of the ECW.
Mm-hmm.
I still had a lot of friends over there that would come and work
Sure.
and help out, and Balls Mahoney, Kid Cash, New Jack, Lil Guido James,
Mm-hmm.
Danny Doring worked with us, Chris and Tammy. Who am I missing?
Orsini. Orsini.
Orsini.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. John Cronus. I mean, we had a good bunch of people coming in. Chris Hamrick,
Mm-hmm.
Coming and having great matches, and plus a lot of my students and a lot of the local. And that went well, until I started pulling knives out of my back.
Oh.
But
When
a New England thing, Sorry guys, you can bobble my if you don't like it. I'll be back in New England. You want to kick my ass? Please do. I mean, hey, listen, and if you kick my ass, no big deal. I'm an old guy. But if I kick yours, behave. Just behave.
how about so at that point you're starting your own thing, and
Yeah.
so yeah, and you still have your ear to the ground. You hear things that are going on over with Paul and ECW. Were you shocked when it went out of business and closed up?
Uh, it was. I mean, it was almost like if you're about to bury someone and they died and decayed, but you put them in a casket and you do the most beautiful makeup job on them. That's how ECW ended. In my opinion, because
Wow.
high note, high note, high note. And I just feel bad for a lot of the people that in the end really gave it their best, because Joel Gardner was telling me, he said, you know, because he'd come to my house and we'd talk, and I'm like, I'm pissed I'm not there. He said, Jason, be grateful you're not there. I'm there because it's like I still there's still that window of opportunity. I understand what it was trying to say,
Yeah.
because checks were bouncing or nobody was getting paid, and pretty much till the end, everyone what they had to do, which again, I mean, it's amazing. Uh, yeah, shocked and not, and pissed off because I'm not, on these cards and saying that, well, whatever the fuck, just, give me a $50 draw and, I can make it through, as long as I'm on, but just want to be a part of it, and you're not.
Yeah.
But, then again, I knew what it was like. I was in the trenches way before a lot of them were, so I knew how to survive. And it's really a matter of, you have to kind of masquerade it. Sometimes, as they say, you got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Absolutely.
Got to, you got to present it that it's bigger than life, like the old laugh, clown, laugh. Oh, yeah, laugh, clown, laugh. Is it? Yeah,
Laugh, clown.
Laugh, clown, laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you feel like crying, but it's you got to go out there and show it that it's bigger than life. Then kind of like crawl back under your rock and anyone home.
Mm-hmm.
It was that type of thing. Like you knew and you didn't know but then you understand why. But then again, you don't understand why. But I think it was all a big plan. If you ask me, I don't think it was any money mismanagement. I think it was planned years before we had it. I think that uh, I think that those that are still on top of the game today, meaning Paul's closest people,
Right.
I think they all planned it years before. They all worked this. They all worked as good. Um, we knew. I mean, they knew that we were going to be used. One with us, we would be discarded, and it's business. And there's no. I mean, it's every man for himself. But I truly think that the ones that are still on top, they all knew it. Paul knew it. Uh, they were all cahooting way before anybody even got smart. And even then, I was like, "Oh, a second. If there's such hatred, I mean, how much of a work is it? You know, you can get Brian Pillman to come in instead of Steve Austin and Arn, and to wrestle Terry and Tali to wrestle. I mean, these guys are all under a contract, and then suddenly there's this invasion, with Lawler's group and WWF and all that. It was so transparent, that it was transparent to me.
Mm.
I knew that it was all a big setup for it was a setup for a big kill. I was just hoping that I could go along, with the group that went along.
Right.
So because it was a big work. We were all being worked.
Wow. It's just.
I mean, that's what I believe, and I believe that if anyone believes anything different, they're just naive.
It's just so like.
Oh,
how can I say? So.
Hey, I'm sorry. Excuse me a second.
Yeah, of course.
Over there, just one thing. Yeah. Got to do something with that.
I'll wait till he comes back to share my thought on the end of ECW because it's just so. It's like so sad, but it's so ugly. Like it, ECW is so um, loved and praised and everything by so many people and so many new fans that are just discovering it. But those last, especially that last year, I mean, I wasn't there, but just hearing the horror stories and it turned out to be just an ugly, sad ending for something that was so amazing and historic to this to the wrestling business. So it's just crazy. It really is to think. I don't know. I don't know. But for everybody watching, please feel free to share your questions and comments. I'm going to go through them all with Jason. We're going to talk more about his career coming up and what he's doing today as he's returned to the wrestling business.
And we need to keep our front doors closed because we have raccoons coming in.
In the house?
Oh yeah.
What?
Deer will come in and steal.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Deer.
Wait, didn't I see you put up something the other day, like of a bear or something outside your house?
Oh yes. There was a bear out there. That was what was getting into the trash and.
Oh, it's not a bear. It's bears, and
Mhm.
Oh my lord!
So you're trying to chew over there because it's waving to me. So.
So the whole ending of ECW, it's just isn't it like so crazy that it's 30 years later or 20 years later that it ended, and it's ECW as a whole is still look. I love it. I have a special place in my heart for it, and so many people do. It was such a beautiful, magical time and moment in pro wrestling history, but the way it ended was, I guess, tragic and ugly is truly the words, and sad. And the fans don't really realize, they hear these stories, and some of the true hardcore fans are still angry and bitter at Paul. How he wasn't paying people and this and that. But it's just it's still very sad and tragic how it ended.
It is, and what's really sad and tragic is the fact that all the so-called predecessors of ECW, and I don't want to start naming,
Yeah.
different companies that try to be, and that emulate the three letters and the cross barbed wiring and all that, which
Yeah.
is what 50, 80 of them out there right now.
I was going to say that was one of my questions for you, and I asked Bob Ortiz last week. How many times did you guys get called after ECW closed up? We're going to be the next ECW, and
Yes, yeah, of course. I mean, that's absolutely, and the sad thing is they lasted longer than we did.
Mm.
I mean, honestly, and all the companies that used to basically shit on us that later on took the hardcore product but elevated it to even like now I haven't watched wrestling in well over 20 years.
Okay.
The other day Desiree and I were in a bar and it was AEW, right? You have no choice but to look up with your drink and everything,
Sure.
and but the things that you see, what they do, um, driving themselves through uh, glass, barbed wire, this and that, people coming in that don't belong, in the ring.
Hmm.
I mean, they, quite frankly, they don't even belong in this fucking world. Never mind the ring, it's it's just absolutely like makes you want to not vomit, but vomit and diarrhea at the same time, just bleed out all your veins, and just like that Evil Dead movie, when they all into something. I mean, that's exactly how gross it has become.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but most of it. I mean, there's still, I still see promotions out there that are, really trying, and they're some of them are a little bit over the top, but you know what? They're succeeding.
Mm.
Um, but getting back to that, there's like, if you've seen one banner that ECW ripoff, whatever, or whatever, with a cross barbed wire. I mean, it's absolutely nothing. Your question, I'm sorry, because I went off the course.
No, well, it was more of a statement, just how sad it
Yeah,
became,
yeah,
the
sad.
ending.
And
Yeah.
it became again, it's like more and more and more, and it's, I don't know, where, for the most part, is, I mean, it just needs to be blown up by the biggest friggin' nuclear bomb that you could possibly, and for a little bit of the out there, hopefully, try to help them out if they're willing to listen, because again, like there are a few products out there that I think they're good to be dealt with, but also the fans of the people and everything, they're so conditioned, to especially after ECW, you have some company in Philly or or some shitty part of Jersey or whatever, they open up a promotion, you know,
Mhm.
where we're going to do all this. We're going to set ourselves on fire and, feed ourselves with thumbtack, and nails and roofing nails and do this and that. Of course, that type of a crowd, you're going to attract them, because, they all smoked a pretty good bowl of crack. They're going to throw that type of shit. And then they call themselves a wrestling company, and it's just it's I think it's they say it's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know how much more worse it can get.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny because I pretty much stopped watching wrestling too for about 20 years, 20 something
Yeah.
years.
Oh, there you
And I
go.
and I like have started, with doing all these shows now. Started watching like these, what do they call them? They're not even pay-per-views now. PLEs they call them now. Um, that WWE puts on. I've started watching like the last few, and it's like funny because we were talking about like the scripted matches, and you can just see
Oh yeah.
at
Oh oh
times they're so over scripted,
oh
and you can tell when they get lost. And
oh. Hey, look. Here we are sitting. You know I don't remember if it was the first or the second pay per view. I think it probably was the first. Where they had that melee where that big cowboy guy hit Brian over the head. Meanie,
okay,
he hit him in the head,
oh yeah,
and it was,
Bradshaw.
yeah. So Vince McMahon was in the middle of the ring in the Hammerstein Ballroom, but everyone has to sit around, So for about an hour and a half, they're practicing where someone should stand, what they should say, how they should tip their hat, or adjust their shirt, for,
Really?
for 5 minute segments. And guess what? Nothing went that way. Everything, and from what I've noticed, I mean, it was also I worked one time at NWA TNA before it was TNA,
Okay.
and it was like, wow, those guys they get into the ring and they practice their matches. They practice their matches. They practice a 5-minute match. They practice that for probably about an hour. And then, as other guys come in, they kind of quarter the ring and this and that. Excuse me, pardon me. Boom, I got to go this way, that way, Repeat and repeat and repeat. The up and over. Duck the closer. No. Now this arm. Oh, the right arm. Okay, okay, make sure it's the right arm. Okay, boom. Oh, no. Take 3 steps. You took 4. Oh, man.
What happened to our business?
I mean, and I said there, and then it was like my turn to go there. It was Sonny Siaki and Mike Sanders.
Okay.
And I'm not shitting on them, but I guess they were conditioned that way, And I was like, what do you want me to? Oh, we need to go over our match. I'm like, so come over here, let's go over our match. Our match is like 2 hours, 3 hours later, Oh, we need to go over a match. I'm like, you mean like, wow. I was like absolutely flabbergasted. And you know what? Nothing went according to what they wanted, because they're champions, and me and some poor sucker that got knocked out the first 3 seconds. Sonny Siaki hit him with a clothesline, knocked him out, so I had to jump in and finish the match. Nothing went as planned anyway. Is trying to say, there's no plan B. When I worked with Kelly Blanchard,
Okay.
the first time I worked with him twice, once in Maryland, once in Virginia.
Okay.
And we were working out the finish. And he said, the slingshot finish and whatever. I said, yes. And he said, well, what about plan B? I said, well, what do you mean plan B? He said, what about if I get hurt? What about if I can't finish a match? What is our... And I said, good fucking point. And here I am. I'm already like a veteran. He's a double veteran, because there's always a possibility, what if I blow my knee, my knee out? What do you do? He's like, put me in a, work submission or pin me. I mean, he's thinking about that.
Wow. You know what? I never had anybody or heard anybody discuss that in a match. What's plan B?
Yeah. Plan B, and I mean, here's a guy that, he's one of the 4 horsemen, working with me. And, luckily he said, oh, I remember you from ECW. You're the guy with that gimmick and all, because he worked with Shane, we're discussing a little bit, what we might want to do, nothing, maybe like a 30-second discussion for a 15-minute match.
Right.
And then everything else is just talking about, the good old times and and all that, So finally the finish, he's like, okay, so if you duck and I hit you with a slingshot. I said, okay, cool, finish, done. He goes, what about plan B? I'm like, plan B. He's like, what if I get hurt? What if I blow my back out, pulling you backwards or whatever? What are you going to do? I'm like, well, I pretty much, if your legs hurt, I'm going to have to, work submit or pin you. He's like, yeah, because there's always a possibility.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, here's Tully Blanchard telling me, what about, plan B? If you have to suddenly pin me, don't stand out there like a clown, and that's the whole thing that I never understood. And I don't understand now. And, I know about, people liking to be in the ring and bounce around. And the guys like to show off how they can go off the ropes, and they bring their girlfriend and their kids, and, they're trying to, psych somebody else's girlfriend out, how, he's a better high flyer than, than whoever, you know, I get it all, but I mean, it's come to a point where, as far as the secrecy and all that, you know, and I know that I when I first started training and toward a good, good part of my beginning of the career and the mid of my career, guys were very, very jealous of the business,
Mm-hmm.
very jealous, very selfish, very protective, and I mean, they would beat somebody down, for doing shit like that. And nowadays,
Right.
it's absolutely amazing. I mean,
What's so crazy to me? Like, and I was talking to somebody about this recently. In these matches they do now, they will. The big move, the one that stands out in my mind is the super kick. Somebody,
yeah,
their finisher is the super kick. They'll do the super kick 35 times in the match
yeah. Oh,
to
but no,
set up for their finisher. That's the super kick.
oh yeah, and a double and a triple, and I mean, and here's another thing that I was discussing with you today, Desiree, where the guys are so, and sometimes you see them, and you see a lot of these guys that and I get it, there's a lot of trim and all that bullshit going on.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the guys look like fucking big fat fucks anyway, 5 pounds of bologna in a 3-pound bag. They're just all muscled up, and they think they're you know what I'm trying to say. I'm
Yeah.
trying, that they think they look like bodybuilders, but they're not.
They look like me.
No, no, that's not where I was going. I was going where we're trying to call it even. The guys that are trying to go out there, they're lifting and they're jacked and they're eating everything inside, but they think because they're that big and their arms are so big and they're so strong at the gym and they take so much shit, that they look good, which yeah, you're big and you're no Tony Atlas is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So separate the difference. Now, on this spectrum, these guys, they will powerbomb the shit out of you. Put you through the friggin' mat, all the way through the line. What does it do? He'll pin you 1, 2, 3, then pick you up on your feet and throw you out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy, you just made yourself look like a piece of shit. Because that boy there should be sleeping. He should be carried off.
Mm-hmm.
Any of a worker that wants to put you over, and if you have any appreciation of the guy that is working with you, that is doing you a favor, you would tell him thank you for what you say. Excuse me. Once you powerbomb me, don't touch me. I'm laying down here. Send the crew to carry me off, and then you're the last in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
None of that. But no, I mean, everyone has to 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's such a. See, here's where that bipolar comes in. And you know why? Because out of the love for the industry, for the business, and for what I was taught, and I remember guys, that I used to work with, that that I respected, the guys that I took it from, Dick Slater and Dusty Rhodes and Terry Funk and those guys. They would literally, I mean, they would paintbrush you, for being stupid like that these days. They see they're no longer around,
Yeah.
Right now, it's like 2 generations later that developed very, very bad habits.
Mm.
They do what they want to do, and they, some of them truly believe in their own shit, And I think that some of these guys literally need someone to, in the middle of the ring, just rip their balls off, and shove them down their throat and say, no, you don't, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll grow another set of balls, come back and do it the right way, Dog them, It's just that everyone's so timid. So, everybody wants a spot. Everybody's so afraid. Everybody's so, this company, that company. And there's like 50 million companies to work from.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, are paying. A lot of them are TV and everything. TV, YouTube, pay per view, this and that. Everybody wants to be seen. So it's like there are a good majority of whores out there. They will, they spread their legs, they whore themselves, and they will stab you in the back for $5 or a spot on TV.
You know what's crazy? I just saw before we went live on air, one of the wrestling things on Facebook posted that there's reports coming out that Roman Reigns is set to earn $15 million this year. Like, and no disrespect, like he great worker, great person, etc. But I mean, the dude works what 15, 20 matches a year.
Yeah, it's not Roman's fault. I mean, he's there. He is there to collect. He's the piggy bank.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not his fault. It's not like he, it would be different if Roman Reigns was God, and he said, "I'm going to create me," above all for men. And $15 million are going to go to me because I say so. He just happens to be, this guy that, right now, this point in this great, this crazy time in the industry and all this money going around where there's really literally, I'm sure a lot of people on TV that are barely making anything.
Yeah.
But you can't help it. I mean, that's the way it is. It's the name of the beast. It's you can't blame you can't play it's so hard to like the guy that invented or created Teletubbies, that it was like a whole craze, everything for a year, 2 or 3, made hundreds of millions of dollars, and then it fizzled out. You were there for that moment, and I mean, I get it, I understand it. It's not him, it's not this one or that one, or it's it is what it's all about marketing, and look at there's a lot of people on this planet, and professional wrestling. You've got to realize one thing: professional wrestling up to 20, 30 years ago, it was not very popular all over the world. Or like, let's say, Eastern Europe, in Poland, in Croatia, Serbia, in Greece, in Italy, in all these in little countries such as Malta, micro countries, all these. It was nothing. It was considered something they heard about, and it was fake. It was called Catch a Sketch Can. They're fake.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now, you got millions of fans from all across, not just the Western world and Asia. We're talking, I mean, like Eastern Europe, and that entire part of the world that absolutely they used to spit on professional wrestling. There are nothing, I mean, you want to see a good Greco-Roman, blah blah blah. I mean, they thought that we were like nothing but pieces of shit. Now, that's where all the money's coming from.
Well, what's crazy? The last, I think, 3 of these PLEs that the WWE has done have been overseas, and I think the last one was in Scotland, and then before that was in, I don't know, some like Arabian country and all.
Yeah.
But these crowds, dude, they are on fire.
Yeah.
And I sit here and I watch this, and I say to my fiance, I'm like, if it was not for ECW and what happened in that arena at fucking Swanson and Rittner, what you're seeing now would not be happening, because the influence of ECW and that ECW arena crowd 30 years later has exploded into this worldwide phenom of fans. It's insane what's going on out there.
Yeah.
I've noticed recently that a lot of the mail that you wind up getting is from overseas. It's from Serbia and it's from that whole region. Of course, because he's from Serbia. Yeah. So, still, it's a lot of fans have been contacting him lately.
And I remember, back when I used to go and visit, like back a long time ago, and they were like, "Oh, you still do that fake shit that you guys blah blah blah," And some people are even like, tough guys want to challenge you, like, "Well, I'm a boxer, and I can wrestle," and I'm like, "Dude, please, like I'm just trying to make a living." Now all of a sudden, it exploded.
Right.
All these kids, they're buying. And I remember, it started like about 20 years ago where, kids are buying Hulk Hogan figures.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure. And I'm like, before that, it was like figures of Pele. This,
right.
Soccer and Vlada Divac and, the all the other Olympic athletes, not professional wrestlers, but so, that's what I'm trying to say as far as, I think, the whole industry and it's all connected and fused, with the movies and all that. It's a big fusion, that everyone's just a celebrity now. And then back in the day, I remember when wrestlers weren't really celebrities. We were just like a sideshow freak. Like, that guy's a wrestler, but and that's Robin Williams over there. You know what I mean?
Right. It's much more about celebrity now than it was, 20, 30 years ago.
It's amazing, that I was surprised that when we go to these signings, where I'm like a guest or to try to put over the and myself back in and sell some pictures and what have you, and these actors, mostly from like the horror movie genre, coming over to me and saying, that, "Oh man, I remember, can I hold that belt to take a picture, and I'm like, "Yeah, I remember you because I enjoy your films." So
crazy. Like it's funny. Like so many of these mainstream celebrities are huge fans.
Yeah, they are. As we are for them.
Yeah. So okay, so let me. You ended up. Did you do both of the ECW one night stands?
I did. Yeah.
So were you shocked when you got called to go do those?
I can't say I was, and I'm not trying to be a dick and pretend, but no, I kind of saw it, Dreamer called both times.
Okay.
And then I remember the funny thing is because PJ was in the house, or at the apartment. We were just sitting down, whatever, and I get this. I was like, "Oh, I'll be damned. Here's Dreamer just called about. Well, ask for me. I said, well, PJ's here. Yeah, him too. Tell him to call Paul. So that's basically just called and said, it'll be your, easiest payday. Just do a run in, and
right.
Because first one we did a run in, and it was kind of when I look at it now in retrospect, if I had to do it all over again, I would really have to get my timing correct, because I had like dress shoes and I have to run that way and make it to the ring, get bumped, get to the apron. PJ comes, gets drop kicked to bump me so we can both take a spill. It was it was a work of art.
Right.
So And pay-per-view, again, you can't mess up because there's no you have that 7-8 second delay. Not much you can do with that. And then the second one was a joke. We didn't even know what was going on because the main thing was with the second one was great matches. Sabu and Mysterio, the whole dive thing. That Mickey Mouse voice doctor. Remember that? Sound like Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse is getting over the match, and then the main event, of course, Van Dam versus Cena,
Right.
and then all we did was just walk out, and chant ECW and collected a check. So
wow.
it was
Was there ever any conversation with you that we're restarting this, we're going to bring you back, or?
Yeah, here and there, but nothing concrete, because I knew, actually, I was a funny story. I don't mind sharing it. It was the very first, after the pay-per-views, they had their very first TV somewhere in New Jersey. I forgot where, very first TV. And I went there. I was, called to be on that booked.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be like this battle royal and this one and that one between the WWE and ECW guys.
Okay.
They said, well, just go get paid, sit this one out, And I'm sitting over there, and opening match, here comes the zombie.
Mm.
And God bless him. I have no ill will, for the young man. He passed away, but I'm just saying the booking. That I'm like, this is ECW, and he comes in as a zombie, and I'm like, why? They're like, well, it's a sci-fi. They want something like that. And I'll tell you what I did. I did collect my pay, and I took my bag and I walked out, and I walked past Vince McMahon. That was not. It was like just in a clutter of people.
Okay.
The whole he was over here, and Paul Heyman asked me, said, Jason, you leaving? You're not going to stay till the end of the show? And I told him, no, not for this piece of shit. And I went,
I love it.
And then I wasn't walking back again, which pleased me just fine.
Yeah. What's scary?
Going on, and I mean, they kept guys around. I think John Balls was probably the one that was there for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Him, Nunzio,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a Spike. And
right.
It was just abuse him, and so and those guys deserve a lot better than that. So.
What's scary though, if you think about it, and this doesn't even pertain to ECW, but just the workers in general, and male or female, whoever it's been over the years, how many times have they had talent there that it was just like, oh, just come and collect a paycheck? How many paychecks have they given out over the years that people have done nothing?
I've seen things in tryouts for WWF at the time that were absolutely such a waste of money. Flying people from Australia, New Zealand, and all that.
My Lord.
That's right. Can you bring me a bottle of that pop?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you, babe. That I mean, I've seen because and I couldn't believe because again, there was no internet then.
Yeah.
One promise to the other. You see a picture of someone that may have looked great a year ago.
Yeah.
Then a year later, they don't look the same.
Sure.
Or years ago, whatever. So they kind of value that, and then of course it was videotape, and you can edit all your good points and hide your weak points and all that. I've seen shit there that I wouldn't flush down the toilet. And they flew it from South Africa. They flew it from
They flew it from
Zealand, Australia. I mean, these fuckers that, I mean, they look like, and some of them just, I've seen a guy that, looked like this Jamoke, he couldn't even speak. He was, doing some bullshit out there, And then Vince getting pissed and saying, "Oh, pay him, sending him his way." Well, were you not able to? I mean, are you that limited? And again, at that time there was no. Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
There was no internet,
right,
or
right.
You couldn't really. You couldn't communicate like you can these days.
Sure.
I mean, I've seen shit that was absolutely insane. Where people would come in and say, "This guy, this good wrestler, and whatever," and I mean, you let him in the ring, he's either going to break his own legs or someone else's. It's that's and styles are different.
Yeah.
In different countries, and in different, I mean, there's it's like I see stuff that's going on right now somewhere in Africa. They're each other, on like mud piles. Did you see that?
No.
Oh my gosh! It's like, and they're like literally professional wrestling. With power bombs and stunners and all this, and they're big, capable young kids. They're killing each other like pile driving each other and slamming each other on mud because they don't have a ring. It's like a mud, and
it's basically like concrete.
Yeah, and they call that the federation.
Wow.
And, like audiences and everything, and it's considered legitimate. And most of the moves that they perform is a lot better than the trained boys up here.
Jesus.
I mean, that's what it's. I mean, I'm sure there's like wrestling on Mars, Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let me ask you now. Like we started touching on it, and I want to get into, when you started going into the world of promoting Assault Championship Wrestling, and what was your main reason for starting your own promotion?
I think because the school started doing very well.
Okay.
I started getting.
So you had the school first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good wave of students, and fine young people that really wanted to. They wanted to learn, and hey, there you go. Wow, I wanted those. Actually, I have 6 of those, and they wanted to learn, and it was a pleasure for me to be out there and actually extend the experience and everything, and of course it's a source of income.
Sure.
So basically, I remember some 2 dudes from the gym next door. One of them was supposed to be like this martial artist. They were like, we want to hire you as a booker for this company that we're starting called Acid Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
Acid Pro Wrestling, but our motto is keep drugs off the streets. Okay. And so Joel Gertner, was with me too. So we were like, okay, let's give this a try. So they're like, we want to use your students and we want to like, do these shows where you guys are, blah, blah, blah. And then, you can hire this one and that one. So that didn't work out too well because the guy that was promoting the show wanted to be the part of the show. Nobody cared for him. Thought it was one of those Chuck Norris wannabes, but he's just,
Gotcha.
he could actually bob on a knob, back there in Connecticut and enjoy himself while he's doing it. So Joel Gerdner and myself and friend Mike Milano
Okay.
got together and we're like, well, how about Assault Championship Wrestling, But it was really all mine because everything was mine. My school, my ring, my money, And basically that's how we started. And the students were ready to go.
Okay.
They were local in Connecticut. So, they would draw. And plus, again, I had a lot of good guys and good friends. Balls Mahoney, Chris Hamrick,
New Jack.
James Murtado, New Jack, Danny Doring, Chris and Tammy, Kid Cash, all those guys that would come in and help out. So we did very, very well, in the beginning. I mean, we drew a great crowd, did very well. We were able to run on a consistent basis. But then again, like I said before, you start pulling knives out of your back and, so that was that. But this is now.
Did you, when you started getting in on that end?
Yeah.
Because I did the same. Like I actually started promoting shows in late '94. Because at the time, I was in that early ECW era, and when Eddie came in and started phasing out the local guys and the green guys like myself at the time, I was like, well, shit, what do I do now? So I started Liberty All-Star Wrestling and was running it in the Philadelphia area. And I didn't know early on in 94 and 95, but in 96 and 97, I really learned a lot about myself, and I learned I liked that end more than I liked actually being in the ring. I was getting more enjoyment out of booking the shows and creating shows and watching everything come together and work than actually getting in the ring and being a worker.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. And my thing is that, I'm trying to get to the point where I really don't have to wrestle in my own shows.
Sure.
Like when need be, and I'm not saying, it's, if I don't, we're not going to draw. No, far from that. I'm just a body, I do jobs for everybody. I put no belts on myself, and we pay everybody else before we see a dime.
Sure.
Therefore, that's where that is. I still have the bug for wrestling, and I would like to. Again, if I do wrestle on my shows, I don't want to be the one. That, I don't mind being a headliner, but like to put over the talent that I'm paying to come in order to draw money. If that
right.
Sure. Crazy, but you're paying someone to come in to draw money. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, the other aspect of booking, promoting, and all that, it's hard to do it by yourself, and you need a good crew. And it more and more that there always comes a time where somebody's like fucking with you, where somebody wants more. People come in and they swear that they just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And give me an opportunity, and I'll do this, and I'm happy for the opportunity. I'm not going to ask for more unless you. But then you give them that opportunity there, well, I think that I should be X, Y, and Z, you know, then you got to watch out for people like that because you start pulling knives out of your back. You know, I'm not about to go through that the second time around.
Isn't it like you would think at this stage of the game, this many years in the business and at our ages, like
Oh no,
when do the knives stop coming? It's basically what I'm trying to say. When will the knives stop coming in the wrestling?
no, because and it's not because they all know it better than you do.
Yeah.
They know it better than you do. It's like a witch's chicken before the egg or egg before the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's amazing, how, and I'm going to continue doing it, but I've got eyes everywhere now.
Sure.
There, my sides, everywhere, because you have to.
Yeah.
And I try to surround myself with good people, and I do. We have good, positive people. Tommy Cairo is with us.
Love Tommy.
He's super instrumental and great help. And,
Joel's still your commissioner, 20-some years later.
Joel Goodhart, he's still our commissioner. He was never decommissioned.
I can't say enough good things about Joel, and I still, every time I hear Joel's name, I just have to say, I don't understand how that guy never was offered a deal.
I mean, if I had, I have whatever I have. Our little company that is trying to resurface.
Mm-hmm.
He's, a huge part of it. Always will be. But if I had somewhere a hell of a lot bigger, he'd be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He's just a talent. He's such an amazing talent.
Talent, and now, mature enough, not
yeah.
Fucking dickhead like he was.
So,
we all love,
When you left the business, you said you left for about 12 years. What made you leave? Were you just done and disgusted, or?
I don't know. It's all of a sudden, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It was here, then it's no longer there, but it's even and it's okay. I know it exists. I don't hate it. I don't watch it. I like different sides of the spectrum, and then a lot of it was a lot of the injuries that I had. Like there was like arthritis running through me.
Sure.
So I took some time off, then went back to working out. That got into great shape. Then started back. So it was like that back and forth thing, But it's all, it's all life. And plus, we go through our, changes as
sure.
Our confidence and everything. So I'm, I'm back and I'm doing my best to get back into it, and I got snagged again.
What snagged you to bring you back? Like, was there something that really sparked it where you said, "Fuck it, I can do this"?
Yeah, well, I'll always say this: December of what year would that be?
2022.
22. Eric Sims calls me and says, I think you need to do this thing at the arena. I'm like, okay. Well, why? He says, I think you're going to do very, very well. And just you haven't done it in a while, and so I agreed to it, and I said, yeah, I'll make $50, $100, see a few people, and wave goodbye, and it'll be a night out.
Right.
Several $100 later, And you know, a lot of people like book, hey, you know, you go, you know, this show, that show, you know, and I was like, I was hurting, you know, pretty badly,
Okay.
arthritis, shape, you know, so I had to start to get back into the ring and all that, and I did, and you know, here I am now. So,
So, so, so after 12 years, then you decide to get back in the ring too.
yeah, yeah. Well, I took some time to, yeah. Well, yeah, I did, but you know, I took some time, you know, to get in shape and you know do all that good stuff. So, and I actually started wrestling again at 60 years old.
Did you ever imagine that? Like seriously?
I didn't imagine it or not, you know, because um, I'm a huge advocate of older people in general, not laying it down.
Right.
And if there's any fight within reason, you know, within bringing it back in a healthy way, not forcing it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm I'm a huge advocate and go for it. Uh, I can't, I can't allow my 50s and now in my 60s and uh, so on to, I'm not that type of a person to just yield to it. You know?
I'll tell you what, man. Like seriously, like I mean, you see Tommy, you know, God forbid he lost one of his legs, and um, a lot of these other guys, Hotbody, he walks with a cane now. He's had major, and you've had back surgery, major back issues,
Yeah.
and
I,
so many of our peers, our friends.
last week, I had
Who's
a
that?
week. Pardon?
No, what'd you say last week?
Last week, yeah, it was.
Yeah, he had a surgery last
I
week.
had a surgery last
What?
week. Yeah,
For what?
yeah. I had a well, it was actually a groin muscle and a
Hernia.
hernia.
Jeez, dude.
So, but you know, I was on my feet the next day, running errands, and you know, I'm just not in the gym.
Oh, but
So,
wait, there's more. He already knew he was hurt, went in the ring, got hurt even more 10 seconds later, but that wasn't enough. He was already booked a week or two after that and went back
well, yeah, you know, I
with
mean,
the surgery already scheduled.
what was that? You know, last booking I had to take.
Yeah.
Some things just don't change.
Yeah. So I'll be back. You know, I need to take about a month or two off and get back to the gym, and then you know maybe 2 3 months later I'll be back in the ring.
But here's the thing is though too, you're in phenomenal freaking shape. You really are.
Thank you.
You don't look 60 years old at all.
No, so but I feel like 90, but you know,
Watch him run around after a 10-year-old.
That'll do it.
yeah. No, you know, I don't want to yield to it. I don't want to yield to it because you know there are certain pleasures, you know, in life, and you know, it's one of them is being able to move around, and you know, sometimes
Mhm.
you know even defy you know what they call reality is sometimes really not reality because you know it is um, again it's what we yield to.
Yeah,
Sometimes we have to fight, you know, a bit to because you know there was a time when I was in a very dark place,
sure.
not doing very well, you know, and not really caring whether I lived or died, you know, and it had nothing to do with drugs or substance abuse or anything like that. You know, it was a lot of other things, you know, and that lasted a while. That I mean,
Was that like your time away from the business, or?
yeah,
Yeah.
not good. It was very bad. It was.
Do you think part of it was because missing the business?
I think so. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think so. Subconsciously, and not.
Sure.
Yeah, not just the business, but the whole aspect of uh, um, what needs to be done and the lifestyle that you need to be
Yeah.
living or to enjoy the business.
Sure.
A lot of it was, there was a lot, it was family, this and that. Again, it wasn't anything of drug abuse or anything like that. It was just
Right.
very, very emotional, very many things that, and what we talked about, a lot of things hurt way, way back, when I was kind of done dirty.
Right.
Oh no, your daughter's fine, you're lying, you're fired, this and that. So a lot of that, there was a lot of buildup, you know.
Mm.
For the longest time, I did think that if I see some of these people, it would not be pretty, you know, um, and not trying to put myself over as some uh, Superman or anything like that. But you get a man pissed off enough, run over you like a tank,
Yeah, of course.
But and then that subsided, and you start, things, it all goes in. It's like all in waves.
Yeah.
Sometimes these waves get higher, and you get more, and then once that tide comes in, it starts to calm you down and the balance, and then a year goes by, 2, 3, 5, 10. You get older, and you start, realizing that a lot of that is not not worth harboring over.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you start realizing that there has to come a time, when you say when, that it's again, it's life,
Yeah.
and no one said it would be easy.
Did
But
you ever talk with Paul over the years and bury the hatchet over things, or?
yeah, there was never nothing to anything to be buried. The last time I saw him was that last pay-per-view. I
Okay.
think, was it 2006 or 7?
6. I think it was 6.
6? Yeah, yeah. And I never did, and I'd love to see him again, just to, I'd love to congratulate him on, what he achieved, what he deserves.
Yeah.
And I think he had the best speech ever. And I think out of,
Did you watch the Hall of Fame speech he did?
I only did, I only watched that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried watching.
It was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I only watched that, because I owe that to myself,
Hmm.
uh, to to watch that particular speech, and him. I wanted to see him there. I really did.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that he's there because he deserves it.
Yeah.
And one part of me, if I was still that guy that was like, you fucking son of a bitch, could feel that way, but the other part can't lie.
Hmm.
Deserves every bit that he got. And I don't know whatever he's going to get in the future. He probably deserves every bit of that too. But as far as the fame and all that, I'm very very happy for him, and I'm very proud to have been considered by him, to work and to have gotten the pushes
Right.
gotten, even though they didn't satisfy me to 100%,
Right.
it was kind of like a pull push. I was
Hmm.
a bastard, he was a bit of a bastard, so it doesn't matter, All in all, I mean, when it comes down to it, he deserves 100%. And I think that out of all the achievers within the past 50 years, I think collectively he beats them all.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
I really do, and just for the pure reason because some people are born with it, some are not, some can partially do it, some can. And yes, there are your Fred Blasties and Grand Wizards and Vince McMahon's and Gordon Soley's and Jim Crockett's and all that. But Paul Hammond, I'm sorry, we collectively, all that you put in one box, and he's right there with all of them, or above. In my opinion.
Agree. No, I completely agree. You can't take nothing away from him. You really can't. How about and this will be the final ECW question, or probably question on my half, and then I'm going to get into all the fan questions and all. Dreamer, any thoughts on Dreamer?
Hardworking. He was always focused. He's a straight edge guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, and he never went out and hung out. And he went right back home and did. But he had a focus. He it was tunnel vision, just like I say, Dreamer, Taz, Lance Storm, maybe a couple of other guys. Not too many that fall in that category. There were tunnel vision and there were straight edged, very focused. They knew.
I didn't realize that about Dreamer. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He knew what what he wanted. He wasn't one of those guys that ran around and you'd see him in bars or anything like that. He had he knew what.
I was going to say, like, I know on my half, like, and I remember seeing you there quite often, like, the focus was, all right, the show's over. Let's get to the Travel Lodge. Yeah. let's get to the bar.
True. I mean, and I think that a lot of, like I said, as far as the focus and all that, and he knew where the opportunity waited for him, and he was a good opportunist.
Yeah.
And I think that he's still a good opportunist, and that's what makes a businessman. So whether you like that or not, I mean, personally, I may have certain issues of the past things that happened that I felt that I should have been in a certain spot where this one and that one. But you know what? Sorry, Charlie. These guys beat you to it. So I mean, he beat us a lot to it.
All right, let me run through these questions, comments, etc. We got Leon Love, shout out from Glasgow, Scotland. Thanks to Chubby and Jason for all the hard work over the years. Thank Jason a lot more because he worked a lot harder than I did.
Cheers.
Let's see. Let me see. Tom Mishnick. Tom was a long-time ECW fan, and he was also the person who put on the CyberSlam conventions for ECW. Tom said he saw Jason at the arena show over WrestleMania weekend, and he's in amazing condition.
Thank you. William to please.
Let's see. Nick Infante, how did the whole Sexiest Man on Earth gimmick come about?
Paul Heyman. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Should I do that or?
yeah, we talked. We did
Yeah,
cover.
yeah, Paul Heyman, you know that.
It was cool seeing you at the Warriors of Wrestling show in Brooklyn, New York last year.
Richie brought you in.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was after
yeah, it was after
yes. Thank you.
the big horror event.
Yes.
All right. David Lee says, I must say I've met Jason a few times at my brother's. He always seemed grounded and just a good guy overall.
Well, it wasn't too grounded. Well, thank you.
Let's see. Nick Infante again. I believe your match with Lex Luger from Raw, February 1st, 1993, is on WWE Raw, the beginning seasons for 1 and 2 DVD.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That unfortunately was about the time when I was very hurt. I couldn't work out, but I could not refuse Raw.
Sure.
And I went in there. I was in poor shape.
Where did I see somewhere? Were you the first Raw match as well?
Yeah, with Curtis Hughes.
Wow, isn't that wild? Like you were the first Extreme Championship Wrestling match, first Raw match.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild.
Extreme belt holder.
Yeah, and actually, Luger with Raw was the main event. So I was in main event for Raw.
That was during. That's when they were giving him that big push to Lex Express, wasn't it?
No, that was a Narcissist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Narcissist. That's right. KW Music says the ECW arena was a dump and the men's room was disgusting. What was backstage like, or was it just as gross?
Probably below that. No, that was fine. He's right. But we collectively, we kept the backstage. There was really not much. It was huge, the backstage.
Yeah, it was.
No, and it was nothing. Did we pee a lot outside? Yes, we did. We didn't do any, but yeah, we kept it we kept it clean, and because we were there, and we're not a bunch of scumbuckets.
It was pretty much just like it was on the other side of the curtain, just backstage.
Yeah. It was cleaner, because everybody minded their own bottles and their own cups and the tape and all that.
Yeah.
All no wrestlers, they try to take care of. We try to take care of our locker room because that's our second home.
That's it. Nomad 215 Hip Hop Series says, salute to both of you ECW alumni.
Thank you.
All right, Michael Rubin says, Jason, how bad were Ric Flair's, I'm guessing he means chops? That's a good question.
What do they feel like? Or
yeah, I guess so. Were they stiff or sting or?
I don't know.
Chop.
If we have like 30 seconds for me to, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was seriously wanting to get into professional wrestling, and all the chops and everything, I wanted to get immune to a lot of the pain. I would take a shoe with a leather, and I would like hit myself over and over. I would, until I was blue, in order to, and I did that, for the first year or so, till it became so. Flair chops were, it was like someone goes like that,
Right.
Tell it, and a chop is a chop, So
Do you when you when you're taking a chop from Ric Flair, are you like saying in your own head, like, are you going woo? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's it is what it is. I mean, it's it's Ric Flair, and that you got to put him over because he's bigger than. Just ask him; he'll tell you.
absolutely. Jason, have you ever been in a shoot?
Like the ring.
Yeah.
I don't think that I've ever. I mean, we've purposely worked out like doing that, kind of thing, hooking and shooting and all that.
Yeah.
Nothing that I can remember. As far as bar fights and all that, yeah,
That's a whole other world.
yeah, probably about 200. Yeah, but no, I mean, we trained very, very. We did train like shoot style and whatever,
Okay.
but not to bring it out there. But I think that if it had to happen, well, whatever.
All right. Robert Gokenauer says, I heard Roman doesn't wrestle much due to his medicine because of his leukemia, but he's not sure.
Yeah, don't know. I mean, I wish, whatever, I mean, let him, you know, let him live, prosper, and, just be alive and whatever. If it is, God bless him with everything. But
Yeah.
the man, quite frankly, I've never seen him wrestle, to be honest with you. I've seen a few moves, across the like internet here or there.
Yeah.
So I've seen like the thing that he does like that with his fist.
Mm-hmm.
Few things, and he's a great looking kid, and I mean, I think people probably need to leave him alone. I mean,
Yeah.
what's he gonna do? And especially if he's sick, and I'm very familiar, with dealing with that type of condition.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him do what he does. He's quite frankly, he's a hero enough that he's still showing up there, and
Yeah.
so, or anyone else in his situation.
Sure. Let's see. Phoenix 48. They say they're asking any memories of working for 3PW, Mini's old federation.
Yeah, I loved it. I liked working over there a lot, and I wish it had continued. It didn't, but I had a lot of fun over there, and I think that's where on a couple occasions Jasmine Sinclair managed me, but things didn't work out for whatever reason.
It's funny. I was just messaged earlier today from somebody who's kind of new to the business, and they asked me, they're like, because Jasmine worked a show somewhere today. I think it was in Delaware or something. And they're like, does Jasmine even know the wrestling business? And I just started laughing. I'm like, I don't want to comment or say anything about this particular subject.
Yeah, I think actually when her and I worked together, and I think it was her idea, and between her and Todd, I think it was pretty cool that like try to use my past ECW Sexiest Man on Earth, and her whole thing to be an item for her to manage me. I think it would have probably would have done very well, but things didn't work out. So
Right.
But it was I love the company, and I really, when I walked in and I saw 3PW, I was like, oh my god, this is like ECW all over again.
Right.
See that where they sunk a lot more money, and I mean they had like everyone, Dusty Rhodes and Kurt Hennig, a lot of the high end paid wrestlers that
I can't see, even with a house being full like that, how they could have.
Afforded him, yeah.
Yeah. But beautiful show.
Let's see. And the last question we have is again from Robert Gokenauer. For Jason, if he was asked to be a producer for an ECW revival, would he take the job?
Well,
how about not even just ECW revival or whatever, but how about in general? If you were asked to be like a producer, backstage agent, or something like that.
yeah. I don't know if I want to be hated that much, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, because you never know. People misconcept professionalism, and that sometimes, and especially if you know people for quite a while, and you hire them for
Right.
the purpose of not only liking them, but they can do the job. They take advantage of it, because they feel that they can take liberties because they're your buddy from way back when.
Right.
It's a very I would and I wouldn't, on a border where I would, because pretty much what I'm doing now, with Assault Championship Wrestling, we're relaunching it. And with a successful show, we're going to have others.
You had a phenomenal card, like the last show.
Yeah. I mean,
this one's no
it
different.
was beautiful, and, we loved it. We're going to continue on. But, it's like you feel that certain people that you have known over a longer period of time, they want to take liberties, thinking that, you're the buddy, and, they can kind of get away with certain things where, like locker room etiquette is locker room etiquette for everyone, including myself, including everybody, So basically, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Once it's hard to be in charge of that, and especially when you're hiring people, they're capable, they're valuable, but they still feel like the business all owes them something, and like through me they're going to get that. Well, I don't know, I want to make everybody happy, and without trying to kick my own self in the ass.
Sure.
So it's a very being in charge like that. It was like they were saying, "Oh, agents, oh, he's a stooge. This one's a stooge."
Right. Right.
Why don't we just have a whole bunch of professional wrestlers working for WCW, AWA, or WWFE or whatever, right? Just decide whenever they're going to show up to the arena, what the matches are going to be, the times, dress code, how they're going to act, behave, where to park, and all that. Oh no, but Rene Goulet and Tony Garea and this one and that, they're stooges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such a fine line,
Yeah.
And of course, the boss, he's either a prick or I'm going to suck his dick. So, you know how that goes. I mean, I can't be more clear than I was.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, exactly it. Crazy. All right, so with Assault Championship Wrestling, what do you guys have coming up next?
Tell them.
Okay. So we have Pandemonium, which will take place at the Pfeiffer Center in Williamstown on October the 12th. Before the match at 8 o'clock, there is a huge fan fest, which will have vendors and wrestlers. So you can get in-ring photos and what have you. The card is just about complete. Actually, our championship belt is on the line that night, as well as a rematch between Jason Knight, Mikey Whipwreck, and Pitbull #1 Gary Wolf versus Kashmir and the Backseats, with Jim as the referee. So, and of course, we have Joel Gertner there. We have some phenomenal matches that night. It is also the return of an ACW original who is also an ECW original, and that will be Angel Orsini. So she'll be there. But again, that is October 12th. Tickets for that can be found on acw.simpletix.com. The building will only seat 250 people, and the last one that we had was just about sold out, and that was our first show back. It did phenomenal. It will also be a pay-per-view once it's sold out so that people can watch it as a pay-per-view, but highly recommend watching the action live because it's everybody loved it. I mean, it was great. So that's with ACW for October. Then in the beginning of 2025, we are supposed to have the 25th anniversary for ACW, which will be held in Connecticut.
Yeah.
A few more shows
Somewhere
after
in
that.
Connecticut.
Yeah, somewhere in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And there is a big surprise towards the end of 2025 that would be ECW related along with ACW. So you'll know more about that as time goes on.
Very interesting.
Yes. So also in the fall of 2025, late fall, Jason will be reopening. Actually, he'll be opening another school. It will be Impact Central Pro Wrestling Dojo in Milford, New Jersey. Also,
Pennsylvania.
Yes, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, Pennsylvania. I'm from New Jersey, so I keep on saying New Jersey. I just moved up here last October, so I'm still, yeah. So I'm sorry, Milford, Pennsylvania. He will also around that time, instead of having a podcast, Jason will be launching his own workout show. So yes, so he is going to have a workout show. So there will be more on that right after the school opens up.
And it's not one of those funny. Remember what's that sports channel? Like, okay, let's do it this way and that way. I mean, it's going to be very explanatory as far as why we're doing what we're doing. As far as movements, exercises, reps, form, and all that. Not just trying to look pretty and go, okay, let's go. And more.
Yeah, I think he was kind of jolted awake when he went to a he went to a indie show in New Jersey when we were still down in New Jersey, and he leaned over to me, and Jason is very blunt in what he says. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. If you didn't notice that tonight, leans over to me and he said a little louder than he probably should have. He says, "Babe, this is shit," and I'm like, keep it down. And he's like, I'm going back in the ring and I'm opening up my school. And
actually, it's for the sake of a lot of those young, inexperienced, or not ready people. Why it was shit? Because somebody's going to kill somebody or themselves. I mean, to that point. It's like, and I don't want to see that happen. So, at least not, not on my watch. But as far as the fitness thing that I'm going to be doing, it's not one of those hop, skip, and a jump and everything. It's going to be literally each individual body parts focused and explained and worked with proper form, timing, and all that good stuff, plus nutrition and all this. As much as I know it, nothing new. The formula hasn't changed. You see all these different diets and training systems and everything. It's all bullshit. The formula does not change. I mean, law of gravity stays the same. So does everything else.
You know what I love about all this, though, is it's not like you're just like saying, all right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and we're going to do this. You can tell you guys have a thought out plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you guys are already talking. I mean, we're only at the halfway point of 2024, and you guys are already laying out the plan for 25 through the year. It's not like we're just going to jump into everything 2024 and here we go in the next 3 months we're going to bombard the world with all this stuff. No, you guys are thinking it out, being smart business people, because it is a business, and plotting your course to do it correctly. And I freaking love that, and I wish nothing but the utmost success for you both, and to see Assault Championship Wrestling and you guys just rise and soar and help this business grow.
Well, thank you. And we shall.
Now, where should everybody go to find out about Assault Championship Wrestling and you yourself, Jason?
Okay, so here we go, because he couldn't tell you where his social media. So as far as Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days,
Right.
he can be found on his official account. It would be at Jason Knight ECW.
Okay.
He just started that one, so not many followers to that, but I've noticed it's growing a little bit more in the last actually the last couple of days. It's starting to gain a little bit of momentum, so he'll be having more of a presence on X in the coming future. On Facebook, you can find him under Jason Knight, and it will reference Sexiest Man on Earth. That one is him. Or ECW Jason Knight, which is his fan page. As far as Assault Championship Wrestling, you can find them, and I believe the old account from the early 2000s is actually still up there. He does not have access to that anymore. He restarted it with the new promotion. So that will be the one that has all the colorful, language and has him on there. And I believe he's in the ring with Alvin and everything else. So you'll clearly be able to tell which one, is active at this point. But that would be Assault Championship Wrestling. The school is Impact Central Pro Wrestling Dojo. And as far as the website, it is www.assaultchampionshipwrestling.com. And for all of his show tickets, it is acw.simpletix.com.
Nice.
I'll take a deep breath.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
I used to public speaking. And
she's like a machine over there. Not only does she do tech stuff, but she is a machine that can speak well and proper and get it all out with not one stutter or anything. I'd be like, blah, 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 blah.
No, well, he had to marry me for a reason,
It
was a secret, sorry.
Well, to you both, I want to thank you both for doing this tonight. Thank you, Desiree, for pulling this all together.
Oh, you're welcome.
Especially this tech end part that me and him were both lost on.
Yeah, well, luckily I wasn't at work right now, so we're good.
Jason, I love you, bro. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see you both in person, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hopefully you will be up here and at an ACW event. And again, they'll talk to you later about the thing later in 2025 if all goes well.
Yeah, amazing. I'm actually coming up there for ECWA out of Delaware. They're doing a big reunion show, so I'll be up there August 3rd. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's gonna be like, be good coming back to Philly area for a few days. And
well, maybe who knows? I mean, we might be able to see you over there or somewhere in a neighborhood.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. She gave all the information, where to find Jason, where to find Assault Championship Wrestling. Go check them out. They got a lot of stuff coming to you this year, next year, and beyond. And if you want to get taught the proper way in the world of professional wrestling, so God forbid somebody doesn't get hurt, hit up Jason. He will teach you. Many years of experience, and you'll be taught the proper freaking way.
Yeah, and never any abuse.
Where were you when I went into school 30 years ago? They kicked my ass. All right, guys. Have an amazing night. Again, thank you so much. It was great seeing you and great meeting you.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.